Wikisana, the new platform. Dear viewers, a very warm welcome to our today's format visit. And there is always a time when I use this visit program to give the immune system a little more meaning. So we were allowed to find the previous broadcasts of the immune system. Who is it anyway? When does the immune system work? What actors does it have? And above all, how does our immune system weaken? Who reacts aggressively to the immune response? And what can happen if this immune response fails? Today, I would like to talk about what the immune system needs to become effective in its activity for us, on the topic of sleep. In the next broadcast, I will talk about that we should not assume during an immune disorder that it is always about the immune system being too weak, but that it can also be misled, consciously or unconsciously, that it can also overreact and that it is of course also too weak. And how you can see that and, above all, how you can act consciously when a certain derailment occurs on the part of the immune system. In the past broadcasts, we have of course always addressed things that trigger this tendency to one or the other. But today I am talking about something that is not talked about much, and that is the question of night's sleep. We live in a time where we believe that we are either night owls or morning corpses. That we have different needs to sleep. And when I listen to people and nothing, but nothing at all, is above an anamnesis, then I will always ask, how long do you sleep and how do you sleep? Do you sleep with the windows closed? Do you sleep in a dark atmosphere? Do you sleep with a sleep aid? It is incredible how many people need something to fall asleep. And how is your bedroom equipped at all? This means that all of our bodily functions, all of them, are subject to a large circadian rhythm. And whether I stay up for a long evening or I am someone who always gets up early, I need a certain amount of sleep. And this sleep must be sufficient. To be able to fall back to a 7-8-9 hour sleep only within the circadian rhythm, means that the pacemaker in us, which is a suprachiasmatic nucleus in the brain, has to grant it its rhythm over the 24-hour rhythm. In other words, within the framework of the light extinction, when it is dark, the body now has the ability to trigger all processes that are related to it, to take on immunological tasks. This cannot happen during the day. But when I wake up in the morning, the light penetrates the retina and now this intracerebral, i.e. brain clock, adjusts itself, this central clock, and it synchronizes all the little mini-clocks in our organism. In all tissues, in all cells. The kidney now does not produce urine around the clock for 24 hours. No. The kidney produces urine now, slowly. It gets ready to take out the urine in the morning. Children are still sleeping. This clock is intact. This clock shows that organs can also have a certain ability to grasp. At night, the vertebral gland is of course controlled and the melatonin urine level rises. It is highly interesting what we have learned in the last 5 years about this small organ, vertebral gland. And what a high risk the vertebral gland is running. Of course, at the moment, within the framework of the less production of melatonin alone, which is way smaller even in adults. It lowers blood sugar at night, it regulates the body temperature at night, and of course also the blood pressure. This is metabolism. This is the right division of the existing energies into an organism. This is my organism, my body, which realizes that the next day I will be able to perform again, that I can rely on it being able to perform. But you have to give it the chance that it can build up enough reserves in this process of rest, that it can absorb everything, that it can virally, bacterially, parasitically, really clean up. It can only do all of this at night, when you sleep, because at that moment it can respond to these energies. In this non-REM sleep that takes place. If I now want to fall asleep and can, then the musculature relaxes. And slowly you fall into a so-called deep sleep. But when you sleep, the 100,000 individuals in our body begin to get up and become active for you. This is all beyond our perception. The T cells that have collected all the antigens during the day now present it the lymph nodes. And there is the big library, where the antibodies are built up, are compared, there is already a contact. And now we have to build up enough new antibodies again, which the innate immune system has now collected and is being prepared for the next step, so that the next day you can proceed with a targeted attack against the viruses, for example. The natural killer cells of our organism, which have the task of recognizing the viruses and tumor cells like a specialized unit, are now all released from the B cells and the inflammation via cytokines, neurotransmitters like TNF-alpha, interleukin-1 and 6, to become active in the context of inflammatory processes. You sometimes notice this when you say, I don't feel good, and you go to bed at night, and then the fever rises, then you sweat at night, then you can't sleep well at all. This is so important, because, of course, in the night, the cortisone goes down. And when the cortisone, which is very strongly anti-inflammatory, has gone down, the body can of course act freely and no one can get in the way. That's why at night. And that's why it's even better at night when you sleep long and sleep well. That's why you're so feverish at night. That's why you're tired and weak when you get sick, because you're mobilizing more, of course. The body registers a burden and then wants to mobilize it. That's why it's not good at all. Then I'll get aspirin or ibuprofen. I seem to break out, but I have to go on. No, I shouldn't, I don't have to. And fever is of course only possible in this deep sleep phase at the moment, because it needs the curdling, it also needs this shiver. This causes fever, the so-called REM sleep phase, which takes place later, which would block it. These energies, as I said, are now needed by the immune system. And melatonin, as a great sleep rhythm hormone, now has so many tasks, also in tumor prevention, also as a strong hormone, to detoxify the brain, as a strong antioxidant and thus as a strong radical scavenger. What we offer today to the younger generation. That the disco only starts at 24 hours, that they need stimulant drugs to stay awake, only triggers inflammation, and I can only get sick in the long run. Because I'm in a system that now negates this normal rhythm. I actually direct my aggression against life. And of course I trigger cortisol, I trigger adrenaline. And these are all processes that in this situation of escape and struggle mobilize so much sugar, so much long-term metabolism. But actually, and I think that's so crucial, sabotage the immune system. And if I have to take this sabotage, let's say indirectly, because I may be a doctor, because I may be a nurse or work in a profession where I have to work at night, then this is not a situation that has to make me sick tomorrow. I can judge that for myself. Actually, I did it every time with incredible joy, and to this day it doesn't matter to me at all. I would never have the thought that I have to get out of here. No, not at all. I can clarify something and that's nice, and then the second leg is not yet in my bed and I keep sleeping. That's not a problem at all, and it's not every night, it's some nights, it's always night shifts. But today in medicine and in many professions we have the freedom to integrate the body back into a normal rhythm. Only the immune performance will definitely have to go down significantly in the context of such a situation. That's why it's important to understand that the natural killer cells go down, the cytokines go down, and this of course also allows viral infections to occur. Many people have sleep disorders. We say 7 to 9 hours should really be a must. Optimal is 8 to 8.5. We need a good sleeping environment, sleeping temperature around 18 degrees. Actually, you should go down an hour before. Think of the blue light of the computer, turn off the computer at least an hour before. Always keep in mind that the body is the result of your life and help it. Practice a nice ritual to sit together at a cup of tea every evening, to put in some galactose. Galactose is the brain sugar to simply recapitulate the day. And maybe write down the 3 most beautiful things of the day that have already been worth living for because you have shared the joy with a person. Because maybe an incredibly warm look has reached you, because you have experienced a beautiful little gift of sharing and joy. Or because you have enjoyed being with other people. These are all such valuable things that can be seen internally in life and in the resonance with others. They also raise a lot of your own feelings of happiness. Then it is good to do a breathing exercise in the evening to get down from your stress base into a good relaxation. This is Dr. Andrew Weil. If you Google it, you will see an impulse of a breathing ball that goes up and down, forward and backward. In the combination of 4, 7, and 8, that is, I breathe in 4 time units through my nose. I hold the air for 7 time units. I gently place my tongue behind my upper jaw, behind my teeth, and in 8 time units I breathe out through my lips slowly. Breathe in 4 time units. Hold the air for 7 time units. And breathe out through the lip for 8 time units. We do this examination within the framework of the vegetative nervous system, and we see very clearly how a person changes into a very strong parasympathetic phase from a tense situation, which is triggered by the so-called sympathicus. One then switches to a very strong parasympathetic phase, and this is called relaxation. Relaxation of the muscles. The brain goes down, everything is fine, the heart rate decreases. The blood pressure drops. And I give myself to you, sleep. The breathing exercise, and maybe also a nice text, maybe not a thriller. And just not yet in the last minutes in an exciting movie. Magnesium, our important intracellular multitalent, at night 300, also 600, if you don't react to it, with diarrhea. It also leads to wonderful relaxation. A warm bath with lavender can relax well, but also aromatherapy, a little oil. An oil lamp, a little water over it, and then lavendel. Or bergamot, or niang niang, there are different possibilities, with aromatherapy, to send all my senses to everything is fine, and to fall asleep quietly. There are very nice teas, also melissa, or passion flowers. I think these are all perhaps valuable tips at the moment, which you may use in the peace of mind of what you actually need now to adjust your body to it. The picture with the leprechaun is good. They also always performed their duties in secret, until they were caught, and then they didn't come back. But these things are important, and what is also very important, create peace. This peace in people is what makes the world much, much better tomorrow, and if I can find my own peace in me, then the peace out there will not be possible, that we can keep it, and to live an inner peace, to have an inner peace, also means that you can get a good sleep. If you keep peace with each other, you don't go to bed with a quarrel. With a bad word, you forgive, you hold hands, you kiss each other, and try to fall asleep again in this peace. Tomorrow is a new day anyway, a new life and a new beginning, and it is one of the hardest things we humans can do, that we then let go and forgive each other. Peace is actually one of the greatest and most important things in life for me, because I consider nothing more valuable than the fact that I am a generation who was born in '59. Just 10 years after the war. And who feels incredibly grateful to be born in these times of peace. We all register how far we have to go at the moment. To find this peace in us, but also to bring this peace into the world, and let me finally read a thought from the Dalai Lama. Which I think fits in here very nicely at the moment. The responsibility lies with each of us. We have to develop an all-encompassing, responsible feeling. Not only in the geographical sense, but also for the problems that our planet is facing. The responsibility is not only with the political leaders of our countries, or with those who have been appointed or elected for a very specific position. It lies in every single one of us. Peace begins in us, when we feel inner peace. We can also live peace with our fellow humans, when we feel love and affection for other people. Then we do not only feel loved and respected by these other people, but it also helps us to find inner happiness and inner peace. In this sense, thank you very much for your valuable time today. I wish you a wonderful next week. I am very much looking forward to the next visit with you. And may I repeat again, Visite at QS24 TV is a format for your questions, if you need my medical advice from a holistic point of view. Everything is discussed with a certain openness. It is never about the individual person, but it is about the topic. And it should always be about the topic in everything in our life. And we humans should learn to think much bigger than always only in the small. I think then we do a big part for a better world. In this sense, all the best and see you soon.